Have you ever loved someone who felt like they were living in a completely different reality? For 3 years, that was my life with Alina. She didn't just like history, she wore it. One day it was a Victorian corset with modern jeans, the next, a 1950s house dress and combat boots. She had this way of talking, shifting accents from soft British to old New York, and she'd make these cryptic jokes about failing to survive 2012 3 times. I laughed at first, but after 1,000 days, the quirkiness started to feel like a wall I couldn't climb over. Our apartment looked like a museum curated by a madwoman. Old maps, inkwells, and stacks of historical journals filled every corner. Whenever I'd ask her why she couldn't just wear a hoodie or tell me about her childhood, she'd get this distant look in her eyes. She'd hesitate when I asked her birthday, as if she had to calculate which year we were currently in. I started to wonder if I was dating a time traveler or someone who was slowly losing their grip on the present. The silence between us was growing, fueled by my frustration and her mystery. The breaking point came yesterday. I was looking for a screwdriver in the back of her closet and found a heavy, locked leather album hidden under a pile of lace. I didn't want to be the guy who snoops, but I felt like I was losing her to a ghost. I pried it open. There were no secrets about time travel or past lives, there were just photos. Hundreds of photos of a young Alina and a woman who looked exactly like her, sitting in a dusty library, both dressed in elaborate, handmade historical costumes. I confronted her the moment she walked in. I expected an argument or another weird joke. Instead, Alina just slumped onto the floor, her 1920s beaded shawl slipping from her shoulders. "My mom died when I was 8, she whispered, her voice finally dropping the accent. "Cancer. The only time she wasn't in pain was when we were reading those history books together. She'd sew these outfits for me. She told me as long as I kept the stories alive, she'd never truly be gone." She looked up at me, tears streaking through her vintage makeup. "I tried to be normal, David. In 2012, I tried to dress like everyone else 3 different times. But every time I put on a normal shirt, I felt like I was burying her all over again. I'm not crazy, I'm just not ready to be alone in this century yet." The time travel wasn't a delusion, it was a bridge. Every corset and every archaic word was a thread connecting her to a mother who had been snatched away too soon. I realized then that I hadn't been living with a stranger. I had been living with a girl who was bravely carrying her grief on her sleeve. I sat down on the floor, pulled her into my arms, vintage lace and all, and told her she didn't have to choose between her past and our future. We stayed there for hours, surrounded by the ghosts of 1890, finally present in the same moment. Is there a weird habit you have that is actually a way of staying connected to someone you've lost?